My friends, every miracle you've ever prayed for already exists in the unseen world around you. There is no delay in divine law, only delay in our recognition of it. You were never born to chase wealth or to beg for opportunity. You were born to express the infinite abundance of life itself. Inside you now lives a silent power that shapes your destiny, a power that listens not to fear, but to faith. Whatever you believe in your heart, whatever you repeat in silence, begins to take form before your eyes. And today, you will learn how two simple words, whispered in stillness, can open the floodgates of wealth, peace, and divine favor. These words are not a formula. They are a vibration. When you speak them from the soul, the universe must respond. Because the moment you feel gratitude for what you cannot yet see, it begins to take form. The moment you feel gratitude for what you cannot yet see, it begins to take form. There is a sacred power that begins to move the instant you give thanks for something that has not yet appeared in your life. It is invisible to the eye, but undeniable to the soul. Gratitude in advance is not wishful thinking. It is spiritual recognition. When you feel thankful for the unseen, you are affirming that the invisible world is real, that it is working for you, that every unseen energy is already shaping itself into visible results. The great secret of manifestation is emotional conviction. The feeling that something is already yours, long before it reaches your hands. When you say thank you for what is not yet visible, you are planting the seed of that desire in the most fertile soil, the subconscious mind. And the subconscious, being creative and obedient, begins immediately to transform that unseen idea into tangible form. Think of it like this. Every thought you think is a vibration, and every vibration seeks expression. The universe never ignores a grateful heart. It recognizes it as a signal of completion. Gratitude is the proof of faith. When you give thanks for the unseen, you declare that your desire is already accomplished in the higher plane of spirit, and now it is only a matter of divine timing before it reaches your material world. Many people pray, but their prayers are filled with anxiety and fear. They ask, but they doubt. They hope, but they do not trust. And so their prayers become empty words floating in uncertainty. But when you shift from begging to thanking, you shift from lack to abundance. You no longer say, please give me this, but rather thank you that it is already mine. That change in feeling is what moves mountains. Every moment you hold the vibration of gratitude for what you cannot yet see, you are magnetizing it closer. Life rearranges itself around your inner certainty. New people, new ideas, new doors appear. Coincidences begin to multiply. You may call them luck, but they are not luck. They are the natural outworking of divine law. Gratitude activates that law. The mind that is grateful for what is unseen becomes a channel for miracles. When you thank life for the opportunity that hasn't yet come, it moves toward you like a magnet drawn to its pole. When you thank the universe for the money that's not yet in your account, the channels of supply begin to open. When you thank the infinite for the love, peace, and joy that seem absent, those very vibrations start to manifest. The unseen world is the mother of all visible things. Everything that has ever appeared in your life, every dollar, every success, every blessing was once unseen. Gratitude for the unseen acknowledges that the invisible is real, that the universe is always responding, that the substance of things hoped for is more powerful than any visible circumstance. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is an act of faith. When you feel it deeply, you align yourself with divine order. You stop fighting against appearances and begin to cooperate with higher intelligence. And in that cooperation, the unseen begins to take form, effortlessly, harmoniously, and naturally. Every time you express gratitude for something yet unseen, you are speaking the language of the universe. You are saying, I trust the process. I trust that what I seek is already seeking me. And in that moment of inner peace, something begins to shift. The invisible substance of creation starts shaping your outer world to match your inner belief. The unseen begins to take form the moment you feel gratitude, not the moment you receive, but the moment you believe. Because gratitude is the evidence of faith made real, and faith is the power that gives form to the invisible. What you thank in silence today will bless you in abundance tomorrow. There is a rhythm to life, a divine echo between your inner world and the outer. Whatever you thank in silence today returns to you multiplied. Gratitude is not only an emotion, it is a creative act. It sows a spiritual seed in the soil of the universe, and every seed returns in harvest. When you sit in stillness and whisper thank you for the things you already have, and for those you are yet to see, you are writing a silent order to the infinite supply. You are saying, I recognize your goodness even before it appears. That recognition sends out a vibration that cannot be lost. The universe always keeps account of every thankful thought, every grateful emotion, every silent acknowledgement of good. Many people wait for the blessing before they give thanks, but the wise give thanks before the blessing appears. They understand that gratitude is not a reaction, it is the cause. When you thank life for something, you are acknowledging its presence in the spiritual realm, and because every cause has an effect, that gratitude must return, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. Silent gratitude is a quiet force. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, it simply knows. And in that knowing, it creates the heart that says thank you in silence, is already aligned with abundance, already tuned to the frequency of receiving. Every time you thank the universe in advance, you are shifting your vibration from wanting to having, from asking to accepting. You are no longer a beggar of life. You become a partner with it. You stop trying to make things happen, and instead allow them to unfold through divine intelligence. If you could see how many blessings are forming because of your silent gratitude, you would never doubt again. The invisible laws of supply and increase are always at work, multiplying the energy you send out. Gratitude is a seed, and every seed must return as fruit. It cannot remain hidden. It cannot remain unfulfilled. When you wake up in the morning and silently give thanks for another day, that vibration begins to draw new opportunities into your experience. When you thank your body for its strength, it becomes stronger. When you thank your mind for its clarity, it becomes brighter. When you thank your finances for increasing, they begin to expand. Life responds to appreciation. The more you bless, the more you are blessed. The more you thank, the more you are given. Silent gratitude creates visible abundance. So, when you sit alone, even if your outer world seems uncertain, close your eyes and whisper your thanks. Thank the air you breathe, the roof over your head, the unseen support of the universe. Thank the money that is coming, the love that is growing, the peace that is unfolding. Every silent word of thanks is a thread connecting you to the infinite supply. Tomorrow's abundance is formed by today's gratitude. Whatever you thank in silence, whatever you bless with sincerity, whatever you feel appreciation for deep in your heart, that is what will multiply in your life. The law of increase has no exceptions. What you recognize expands. What you thank returns multiplied. What you bless blesses you back. Silent gratitude is the hidden generator of visible success. It may seem small, invisible, private, but it is more powerful than any outward action. Wealth is not earned first. It is accepted first in the heart. True wealth does not begin in your bank account, nor does it start in your career, your business, or your work. It begins in the quiet chambers of your heart, in the thoughts you hold, the feelings you nurture, and the beliefs you choose to accept about yourself. Wealth is not a pursuit, it is a permission. You do not chase it, you allow it. You do not compete for it, you consent to it within your consciousness. The great error of the world is the belief that hard labor alone produces abundance. Effort has its place, but without the inner acceptance of prosperity, effort becomes strain, and strain leads to struggle. There are those who work endlessly, yet see little increase, and there are those who move calmly and receive much. The difference lies in acceptance, in the silent inner yes to the flow of abundance. You can only receive what you inwardly feel worthy of. If your heart rejects wealth, if it feels guilt, fear, or unworthiness, the outer world will mirror that state. You may see temporary gains, but they will not remain. The mind that secretly doubts abundance unconsciously drives it away, yet the soul that feels at peace with prosperity draws it naturally, for it knows that wealth is not evil, not selfish, not sinful. It is the divine expression of life's fullness. Wealth is life's way of saying, I am. It is the manifestation of energy and form. When you accept it in your heart, you are not taking from the world. You are allowing life to give through you. You become a vessel through which abundance circulates, a channel, not a collector. To accept wealth is to affirm your divine right to flourish. It is to say, I am open to receive all the good that life has prepared for me. That simple statement, when deeply felt, begins to transform the entire pattern of your subconscious. The fears of lack, the memories of struggle, the beliefs of limitation, all begin to dissolve under the light of acceptance. The subconscious is like fertile soil. It will grow whatever seed you plant. If you plant thoughts of scarcity, you will reap shortage. If you plant feelings of unworthiness, you will experience lack. But if you plant the idea that you are already one with the source of abundance, that wealth is your natural state, the soil of your mind will begin to yield in harmony with that belief. Every feeling of gratitude, every thought of sufficiency, every moment you imagine yourself surrounded by plenty, these are the ways you accept wealth in the heart. Acceptance comes before evidence. You do not wait for the outer change to believe. You believe first, and then the outer change arrives. Think of a radio. You cannot hear the music unless you tune to the right frequency. The music was always there, but your receiver must match. The frequency of wealth is not anxiety, not desperation, but calm assurance. The heart that accepts abundance sends out that frequency, and the universe responds instantly. To accept wealth is to release fear. Fear says, what if there's not enough? Well, Dave says, there is more than enough. Fear holds tight. Faith opens the hand. Fear counts what is missing. Faith blesses what is present. The heart that chooses faith invites increase. If you desire to experience wealth, begin not with action, but with alignment. Sit quietly. Each morning, place your hand over your heart and affirm inwardly, I now accept the infinite riches of the universe as mine in consciousness. Feel those words, not as a command, but as a truth. You are not asking for wealth to come. You are acknowledging that it already exists within the field of your being. There is no outer wealth without inner permission. Every fortune ever created was first accepted as a possibility, then believed as a certainty, and finally expressed as a reality. When you feel rich in your heart, the world begins to mirror that richness back to you, through people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with your inner acceptance. Wealth flows where it is welcomed. The heart that welcomes it, with peace and gratitude, becomes a magnet for supply. And in that silent acceptance, life begins to multiply every good thing in ways that no effort alone could achieve. The universe responds not to your words, but to the feeling behind them. Every word you speak carries a vibration, but it is not the word itself that moves the universe. It is the feeling behind it. Words are forms. Feelings are forces. You may say, I am wealthy. Yet if your heart trembles with fear or disbelief, your words are empty echoes. But if you whisper those same words with conviction, with peace, with faith, the entire universe listens and responds. Feeling is the language of creation. The subconscious mind does not understand words as the conscious mind does. It understands impressions, emotions, and sensations. When you feel something deeply, it becomes a command to the creative power within you. That power accepts every feeling as truth and begins to manifest it accordingly. You can speak thousands of affirmations, but without emotional belief, they remain mere sound. Yet a single thought, charged with sincere feeling, can transform your world. The universe is not persuaded by repetition alone, but by vibration, by the emotional frequency you hold in your inner world. If your feelings are filled with fear, worry, or resentment, those vibrations draw more of the same. Life mirrors the emotional tone you project. You may try to speak positively, but if the feeling beneath the words contradicts them, the deeper vibration prevails. The subconscious always responds to the dominant emotion, not the spoken declaration. That is why silent gratitude is more powerful than loud complaint. A calm heart, filled with quiet assurance, moves mountains more swiftly than 1,000 anxious prayers. The feeling of faith, not its verbal form, is what creates. To align your words and feelings is to speak with creative power. When your affirmation and emotion agree, the universe recognizes it as truth and moves to fulfill it. You are not convincing the universe. You are convincing yourself. Once your feeling matches your desire, the outer world must obey. Begin by observing the emotions behind your thoughts. When you speak of abundance, do you feel joy or doubt? When you affirm health, do you feel fear or peace? Awareness of feeling is the key to transformation. You cannot pretend to feel rich while feeling poor within. The solution is not to force emotion, but to cultivate it through faith, imagination, and gratitude. Imagination is the bridge between thought and feeling. When you imagine yourself already living your desired life, your subconscious begins to feel it as real. That feeling, once impressed, becomes the vibration the universe mirrors back to you. You are never manifesting words. You are manifesting emotion. To create anything, speak the words that align with your goal, and then sink into the feeling of their truth. Feel the relief, the joy, the peace, as though it were already done. That is the sacred art of manifestation. Words are the brush, but feelings are the color. Without color, the canvas remains dull. With emotion, it comes alive. The power behind all creation is emotional energy. It is the feeling that fuels thought into form. Every great invention, every piece of art, every fortune began as a feeling. The feeling of possibility, of certainty, of joy. When you speak your desire, fill it with the warmth of emotion. Let it come from the depth of your heart, not merely from your lips. The universe is not judging your words. It is reflecting your state of being. Speak what you wish to feel, and then feel it as already real. The emotion is the magnet. The word is the direction. Together, they form the creative command of life. You cannot deceive the universe with empty affirmations. It hears the vibration beneath the words, the silent frequency of your belief. When your inner tone says, "I am ready, I am worthy, I am one with abundance," the law of creation begins to unfold through circumstances and people that match your emotional vibration. The spoken word shapes the surface. The feeling beneath it gives it life. When you align both, you become a conscious creator, one who speaks not from need, but from knowing. Silent faith is louder than desperate effort. There is a power in stillness that no amount of striving can equal. The world teaches effort. The soul teaches faith. The mind that believes it must fight for every inch, that it must strain and struggle to succeed, lives in noise and confusion. But the soul that knows the quiet law of faith walks calmly through life, and all things come to it in divine order. Silent faith is the unseen magnet that draws everything good toward you without noise, without haste, without fear. Desperate effort shouts, faith whispers. Effort says, "I must make this happen." Faith says, "It is already happening through me." Effort comes from tension, from the belief that life resists you. Faith comes from knowing that life moves with you. The person who trusts silently, who holds steady inwardly, accomplishes more than the one who exhausts themselves in outward struggle. There is nothing weak about stillness. True stillness is strength under control. When you are inwardly quiet, your mind is clear, your vision sharp, and your energy pure. You can hear divine guidance. You can sense when to act and when to wait. You are no longer reacting to the outer world, but responding from inner wisdom. In that place, success begins to flow naturally, because your actions are born from clarity, not panic. Desperate effort is the language of fear. It says, "I do not believe the universe will help me unless I force it." But silent faith is the language of creation. It says, "The power that created this universe is also within me, working perfectly." When you hold that awareness, your outer work becomes effortless. You move with precision, guided by intuition. You are not driven by fear of loss, but drawn by the quiet knowing of abundance. The most powerful prayers are not loud or pleading. They are silent and certain. The most effective actions are not frantic, but focused. Silent faith carries a vibration that commands without aggression, that attracts without chase. It is a still current beneath the surface waves, moving vast energies unseen. Every time you quiet your mind and affirm peace in the face of chaos, you are exercising silent faith. When you refuse to let fear dictate your next move, You are demonstrating mastery. The person of faith does not rush. They rest in the assurance that the right thing, the right way, the right time are already being arranged by divine intelligence. Faith is not the absence of action. It is the alignment before action. When your mind is grounded in faith, your actions are potent because they carry spiritual power. When your actions come from desperation, they are scattered and weak because they lack inner harmony. Silent faith unifies the mind and heart, and when that happens, everything you do becomes magnetic. Look at nature. The seed does not strain to grow. It rests in the dark earth, trusting the law of life to do its work. It does not panic when it cannot yet see the sun. It simply believes. That same law works through you. When you stop trying to force outcomes and begin trusting that the universe already knows the way, your growth becomes inevitable. Desperation is noisy. It comes from separation, from the belief that you are alone in your efforts. But silent faith knows that you are one with the source of all creation. It does not need to shout, because it knows the law is already working. Like gravity, divine law requires no convincing. It simply responds to belief. When you rest inwardly, outer results accelerate. Life unfolds more harmoniously. You begin to notice how everything connects, how doors open without struggle, how solutions appear without tension. It is not that you stop acting. It is that your actions are guided by peace, not fear. That peace is the sound of silent faith. The more peace you feel about money, the faster it flows toward you. Money, like all energy, responds to vibration. When you think of it with fear, it hides. When you think of it with pressure, it resists. But when you think of it with peace, gratitude and calm expectation, it flows. The universe does not respond to anxiety. It responds to harmony. The vibration of peace is the open door through which money enters. Many people chase wealth while feeling tense and fearful about it. They work endlessly, but their inner conversation is filled with worry. What if I lose it? What if it's not enough? What if it doesn't come? These thoughts send out waves of resistance, pushing abundance away. The law of attraction does not respond to words but to feeling. When you feel lack, you magnetize more lack. When you feel peace, you magnetize provision. Peace is the evidence of faith. When you are peaceful about money, you are telling the universe, I trust that all my needs are met. That feeling of trust creates an energetic opening through which opportunities, ideas, and resources begin to flow. The less you chase, the more you attract, because peace is magnetic and fear repels. Imagine money as a river. If you panic, you create turbulence. The water becomes muddy and hard to navigate. But when you are calm, the surface clears and you can see the flow. Peace allows you to receive guidance, intuitive nudges that show you where to act, when to speak, and how to prosper. When the mind is quiet, inspiration becomes audible. Money is not your enemy. It is a neutral energy that takes on the tone of your consciousness. When your inner attitude toward it is peaceful, money begins to treat you the same way. It arrives peacefully, stays peacefully, and grows peacefully. Anxiety about money is a declaration of distrust in the source of life. Peace about money is a declaration of faith in infinite supply. You do not need to force money to come. You need to become receptive to its flow, and receptivity is born in stillness. When you feel at peace, you are saying, I already have it within. That vibration of sufficiency draws physical evidence. of wealth into your life. The more peace you cultivate, the faster the current of supply moves toward you. Money flows to those who honor it with calm respect. The person who blesses their bills, blesses their wallet, blesses the flow of giving and receiving. That person is operating from peace, and therefore from power. Gratitude and peace are two sides of the same coin. When you are thankful for what you have, peace naturally follows. When you are peaceful about what you desire, it naturally expands. Worry blocks the flow. It tightens the mind and closes the channel. But peace relaxes you into the awareness that you are already connected to an infinite source. You stop seeing money as something distant to be earned, and begin seeing it as energy already circulating toward you. Peace does not delay prosperity. It accelerates it by aligning you with the frequency of abundance. When you release financial fear, you begin to act from inspiration instead of reaction. You make better choices, see clearer paths, and attract cooperative people. You are no longer guided by panic, but by inner guidance. Peace puts you in the right vibration for the right ideas to reach. The person who is peaceful about money does not need to prove their worth. They know their worth. They are not afraid of loss because they understand that supply is infinite. They are not obsessed with accumulation because they know that circulation is the key to expansion. Their calmness becomes their magnetism, and money cannot resist that vibration. Peace is prosperity in seed form. The moment you feel peaceful about money, you are already rich in consciousness, and since the outer world must mirror the inner, physical abundance begins to match that inner state. Peace opens the floodgates of flow, where struggle once stood. The more peace you feel about money, the faster it moves toward you, the more easily it stays, and the more beautifully it multiplies. Every thought of abundance plants a seed in the garden of your destiny. Each abundant thought you hold is a living seed, quietly taking root in the soil of your subconscious mind. Every time you imagine prosperity, speak of increase, or feel gratitude for plenty, you are planting energy that must one day bloom. The mind is the garden, and life is its harvest. If you sow scarcity, you reap struggle. If you sow abundance, you reap ease. Each generous thought invites divine law to work in your favor, arranging circumstances for your good. Even one pure thought of wealth can begin to transform your entire vibration, for the universe does not measure quantity. It responds to quality. Think abundance, not just with words, but with feeling. Let every grateful idea, every moment of trust, become a seed that grows into visible prosperity. For every thought is a cause, and every cause must bear its own effect. Gratitude turns waiting into receiving. When you are thankful in the midst of delay, you shift your vibration from longing to fulfillment. Gratitude bridges the unseen and the seen, the future and the present. While others wait in worry, the grateful soul rests in certainty, knowing that what it has thanked for is already moving toward it. Gratitude dissolves impatience. It transforms time itself into an ally. Each thank you carries creative power, silently drawing your desire close. The energy of appreciation tells the universe, I already possess this in spirit, and because the subconscious accepts that feeling as truth, reality begins to match. Gratitude removes resistance, and turns waiting into a gentle unfolding of what was already yours in the unseen. When you believe you are already supplied, life rushes to prove you right. The moment you believe that all your needs are already met, a quiet shift happens in the unseen. The energy of belief becomes a command to life itself. Instead of chasing supply, you radiate the assurance of one who already has it, and creation mirrors that conviction. The universe loves certainty. It echoes the vibration of completion. When you feel whole, abundance finds you because it recognizes its own reflection. Belief is not hoping, It is knowing, it is walking in peace, when appearances say otherwise, trusting that the invisible supply is unfolding through perfect timing. The heart that believes releases all tension, and that release opens the gates through which blessings pour. Life always rushes to fill the consciousness that already feels full, because inner fulfillment is the true magnet of outer abundance. But when you feel whole, say thank you until your heart believes. Then watch miracles unfold quietly. There is power in repetition that is felt, not forced. When you say thank you again and again, not as routine, but as rhythm, something begins to awaken within you. Each repetition deepens belief. Each whisper engraves gratitude into the heart. Soon the words are no longer spoken. They are lived. The subconscious, impressed by sincerity, accepts gratitude as your new identity. And from that identity flows every miracle you once prayed for. The quiet act of saying thank you reshapes thought, dissolves doubt, and harmonizes you with divine supply. It turns fear into faith, and waiting into knowing. When the heart finally believes what the lips have repeated, the outer world must obey that vibration, and life unfolds with effortless grace. Everything you've heard today is not theory. It is law. Gratitude, faith, and peace are not emotions to visit occasionally. They are the vibrations that create worlds. When you plant thoughts of abundance, life responds in kind. When you believe you are already supplied, the universe rushes to confirm it. Money, success, love, opportunity, all these are but reflections of your inner state. You do not earn them by struggle. You allow them by belief. Each silent thank you is a bridge from the unseen to the seen, from desire to realization. The subconscious mind accepts what you feel as true, and life becomes the mirror of that feeling. So remember, silent faith speaks louder than desperate effort. Gratitude turns waiting into receiving. And the more peace you feel about wealth, the faster it flows toward you. You are not trying to make anything happen. You are allowing divine order to unfold through you. Let your heart whisper the truth of abundance until your whole being believes it. And then watch quietly as miracles appear in your life, just as naturally as sunrise follows nights. If this message awakens something in you, stay connected with our Infinite Possibilities 8, where we teach you not just how to think about abundance, but how to live it from the inside out.